Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Art Money Success Podcast. I'm your host, Maria Brophy. Today, I want to talk to you about the difference between poor people and rich people. And no, it's not about the money, it's the thinking and the actions. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to share with you my own poor thinking that came from a very difficult childhood and how I transformed that to some degree, and what it was that kind of pushed me in the direction of thinking less like a poor person and more like a abundant person, and how I learned how to change not just the way I thought about money, but also the actions that I took. Okay. And this is going to be good. I want you to listen to it regardless of where you are in your financial journey. This is, there's a couple of really good nuggets here. So I'm going to hit on two big points. And one is the way you think about money. And the second one is the actions that you take that actually come from the way you think about money, but it also leads you to the results that you get. How much money you have in the bank, how you're living abundantly or with lack, if you're struggling, or if life is kind of easy for you. Okay, so I grew up very, very poor. So poor that I had to go to work when I was 14 years old just so I could have clothes. And by the time I was 16, I was paying rent and contributing to the household. Because if I didn't, we wouldn't have heat in the winter and we wouldn't have enough food on the table. So I actually am grateful for those experiences because they've made me the person I am today, somebody who is not afraid to get my hands dirty. I'm not afraid to work. I have a great work ethic. But the the really negative thing about growing up like that is that I adopted my parents' very poor money mindsets. My mother was always saying, "We're broke, we're broke, we're broke, we're broke." She was always in fear. She was always afraid of lack. But then on those rare occasions where money would come in, instead of doing something wise with that money to set us up for the next dry spell, she would blow the money. She would overpay in taxes because she was made the poor choice to not get a good tax person. She would overpay for banking fees, like so. And this happens to a lot of people who are struggling financially. They kind of get caught up in this loop where they're actually paying more for a lot of things than other people are paying for. So it just puts them deeper and deeper into a financial hole. So what changed my thinking was I can't remember what year it was, but it was over 20 years ago. And my younger sister sent me a book. And she said, "Maria, you've got to read this book. Oh my gosh, it just blew my mind. Really made me realize all the things that I was doing wrong when it came to money, bad habits we picked up from our parents." So the book is called Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. And when she sent me this book, of course, I look at the title and I'm like, this is a scammy book. This is like this guy, teaching people how to be rich. That's scammy. But then I opened it, and every single chapter started with poor people do this, rich people do this. And it blew my mind because as I read all of the headlines of each chapter, I was like, oh my gosh, I do that. I do that as a poor person. I do that as a poor person. And man, it was such an eye opener. So I'm going to share with you the first two things that changed everything for me. And it was actually the first chapter. And the first chapter starts with rich people believe I create my own life. Poor people believe life happens to me. Now, when I read this, it was kind of a difficult concept to get. And now, I mean, I live this concept all these years later, but back then I thought, what? I mean, I know life happens to me. I've had so much shit happen to me. So many things happen to me. I mean, I couldn't choose where I was born or who I was born to or all the bad things that happened to me and my sister dying and just all these things, right? But then as I read the chapter, I started really getting it because there was something inside me that said, this is truth. I can create my own life. And that was the first step. Like when you realize that, even if you don't know how to do it, you don't know how to create your own life because you never have, you get real curious like, how can I do this? How am I going to do this? I want to learn. I'm going to figure this out. Got to a point where, at some point in my life, and this was after meeting my husband, and he already knew this. He already knew that you create your own life. And so he further taught me about this. And he said, Maria, anything you want is right there. You just need to decide what it is. And then you just keep moving towards it. So I considered this. I started writing down all the things that I wanted, not just money, but the abundance that I wanted in my life, the love that I wanted, the friendships, the travel. I wanted to write books. I wanted to be creative. And that was really the first step. So that's part of the mindset. And then there was another chapter that, oh my gosh, just like made me change how I do things in my business. So this chapter starts with rich people hire the best advisors. Poor people don't want to hire anybody and they do it for cheap. And then the chapter goes on to talk about how, rich people hire good accountants because good accountants save them money in taxes. And they hire good attorneys when they need one because if you try to do it yourself, you're going to lose the court case, right? Or you're going to lose money. So when I read that, I thought, oh my God, I just totally saw where I had gone wrong because at that time, we were in business and I had a CPA doing my taxes and she was cheap and she was a sweet lady. I'm not going to pick on her. She was super sweet. She wasn't very good though. I used her for years because she cost almost, hardly anything. And I thought she did an okay job. Well, sadly, she passed away and I hired a new accountant. And my new accountant went over my books and she said, oh my God, Maria, do you realize that just last year, I hate to say this about your former accountant, but you overpaid the IRS by $6,000. And I said, what? How did that happen? And she showed me. So I really got it that, when it comes to really important stuff like paying taxes, going up against somebody in court or fighting for your copyrights or whatever, you need to bite the bullet. Or if you're going to hire a consultant or a coach to help you with something, which I've done many times over the years, and almost always it's made me more money than cost me. So that was an eye opener, and ever since then, when I got that concept, I was like, okay, from now on, I spend the money on the best people who are going to advise me properly. So I guess I want to wrap this up with, all these years later after reading this book, and I highly recommend it for someone who's new to these concepts because the book is written very simple. It's called Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. The author is T. Harv Eker, and I'm sure you can get it on Amazon. But all these years later, like my life is living proof that you can create your life the way you want it and that you can build a business the way you want it. Um, if you take control of creating things exactly how you want them to be. I hope this was helpful for someone out there. And also, I want to tell you there's going to be a link in the description of this video and this podcast, and it will lead to a really cool workshop I'm doing with my friend Beth. She's the author of "Make Money Your Partner," and she does things the way I like them done, like a holistic approach to finances, where she teaches people not just about where to put your money, how to track your money, all the practical stuff with money, but she also teaches you how to think about money, how to get over your fears and your worries, and how to let go of these old money mind habits that you picked up as a child that have followed you into your adulthood. So check that out, click the link, or just go to brophyartacademy.com and you'll find that under the art business tab. And I hope this is helpful. Have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one.